Hello, everybody. My name is Millie. Welcome to today's episode. In today's episode, we are taking a look at the new slices in Power BI. Let's get to it. So, we have data about sales. So, when the product was ordered, what was the product, who was the salesperson, the quantity, and the sales amount. Here we also see the actual salesperson instead of the ID and who their supervisor was, and we have a picture of the salesperson as well. Then we have information about the target, which is budget information as well. So we are going to use a new slices to create a very nice dashboard. We have a couple of measures already created, information about orders counts, what was the profit, the amount of sales, the ratio between the sales and the target, and what was the budget amount. So we can look at some visuals. So basically we can look at information like sales amounts by product group. And then we want to break it down by the different salesperson. So we have had this slicer in Power BI for a long time. So let's start from there and look at the difference between the old slicer versus the new slicer. So if you go into the sales agent table, we have the salesperson. So basically, these are the salesperson we have, and then we can look at how much sales Carla brought in based on which product group. Let's also add the total sales so that we know how much total sales she brought in. So let's bring in the sales. What was her target? And what is the ratio between the sales and the target? So in this case, for Carla, she brought in a total sales of 4.7 million and her target was 4.3. So she exceeded her target, which is good. And we can look at Estevan, and he was below his target. So let's go in and make this a bit clearer by associating colors with overperformance or underperformance. If we go into the formatting pane, then we go into the callout values. And let's see. So let's look for this. Oh yeah, so this is what I'm looking for. So if we pick the sales versus target, we can go into conditional formatting and then assign rules to it. So we can say if the sales was greater than or equals to 1, and then let's see. No, okay, we should put if it's greater or equals to 1, and oh yeah, so if it's greater or equals to 1, which would could be equivalent to 100%, and let's say less than, let's put in a number, 1,000, then we give it a color. So it means this was overperformance, that is a green. And let's add a new rule. So if this was greater or equals to 0, and then less than 1 in this case, then let's say that is red. So let's choose a red color here. And this is how it's going to be because Esteban was under target. It was below the target is red and color exceeded that is green. So this got red and yeah, he way exceeded his threshold. So he is also in green. So this is how typically you use the slices to break down information. Now let's look at the same thing, but by the new slicer. So let's duplicate this. And then let's take this away and introduce the new slices here. So we bring in the salesperson again. And now let's go in and look at the features for the new slicer visual. So we can go into the layout and then we can choose it to be a single column in this case. What is the maximum number of buttons we want to see? Let's say 5. And then we have the option to continuously scroll to see all the salespersons, or we can use paginated. In this case, then you will see this down arrow. When you press on it, you get the next batch as well. And when you want to go back, you press the up arrow. You can also choose the orientation, so either is horizontal or vertical. So this is what you'll see. In this case, then it just moves in the opposite direction, but let's take it to vertical for now. And look at the other features that we have with this new slicer visual. Okay. So we had information about the all the salespersons had pictures. So if you should go to the images section, we can add a picture of the salesperson. And so we look at the salesperson photo and let's bring it in. Let's move this a bit. Yeah, and align everything. So let me just turn off the grid lines while I'm here. And let's go back into the new slicer and continue with our formatting. So we have him here instead of fill, let's say normal. And this looks better already. You can choose to make the image a bit more transparent or not. So just leave it there now. I think this is already okay. We can also control the saturation of the images. So here we see it's more like in a black and white hue. And then if we go back, I think the colored is looking okay for now. And then we also have the options for where we want to position the images. Currently it's at top. We can move it to the left or right. So if you move it to the right, this is what we have. And then we can also move it to the left portion. So I think the left portion is good for now. Let's go in and see what else we can apply. So we also have options for buttons, and then we can add shadow to it. So if we add shadow, then you will see it kind of changes and this really looks good. And we can also add a glow to it to just make it glow up a bit in the background. And then we can add an accent bar as well. So if we add the accent bar, This is what we have. We can increase the width of it. This is now in black, and we make it 5, and I think the 5 looks good. Basically, you can also change the color as you wish. So you could change the color of the accent bar. I think I'm just going to leave it at the black for now. What else can we add? So we have more informations that we could add to it. Let's look at the layout. So we have this already. And so we can add more things. So if you go back to the call out values and we scroll down a bit, we turn on the label, we can add more information here. So we know this salesperson, but let's add information about who their supervisors are. And now when we add, we know Carla's supervisor is Diego and Felipe's supervisor is Sophia. So this is already looking really nice and a lot of improvements. What we could also do is have different behavior from when something is selected as opposed to by default. So for that, let's just go back. Let me just make this a bit smaller and go back into the buttons. So this is currently the default behavior. In this case, what we can do is we can, for example, turn off the glow. No, I think we should just leave that. But then what we can do rather is to change things around a bit more. Wait a second. So we go into the fill. Let's look at what we can apply here. No. So basically you can change the colors around. And then what we could technically do is, I think there are some other features here. Let's see. So what we can do is, so let's see, for the images, let's just change this around. So let's add like a saturation of, let's say 40, let's make it like around 50%. This would be the default behavior. And now we can go to when selected, for example. Then now we push the saturation to 100% in this case. Now this look like a bit black and white, but when we select on something, then the image itself now has color. So this is another thing that we could add to it. And then as we click through, then this is what we have. I think this really looks good. This is a lot of improvements over the old slicer. So yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope you would use the new slicer going forward in your own reports. Bye bye.